Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, September 23rd, and I have some exciting news to report. I've got a couple of new features that I'm going to be, well, one of them is actually already integrated into my business. In fact, I did some work on the website last night, and I put some information on the services and pricing page of massagebf.com. If you go to the top of that webpage, there's a video right there, which will give you some helpful information about my pet peeves. If I'm not mistaken, that video should say, watch this before you contact me. But next to that video, there's a description for a new feature called Glimpse. The other feature that I'm going to talk about next would be, as some of you know, I have Square. Square is my credit card terminal. That's what I use to process credit cards. And most of you pay with cash, but a few of you are paying with credit cards already. And I'm expecting by the end of next year, by the end of 2016, I'm definitely anticipating more and more people using credit cards to pay with instead of cash, because you know, this world is changing a lot, and more, you know, people are, oh, pardon me, I just got back from the gym, so my body's in shock right now. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, more and more these days people are moving away from cash, and they're paying more and more with credit cards. And that's not to say that there's not still ATMs everywhere, especially if you're banking with Chase. You know, I mean, there's, you know, finding a Chase ATM so that you don't get slammed with fees, or it's very, very easy, especially if you have a smartphone. But I'm expecting more and more people to pay with a credit card by the end of next year, of 2016. And there's also because there's some more I guess I'll talk about the credit card upgrades first, since I'm already going down that road anyway. October 1st, the U.S. government basically started implementing, I hope I didn't just say August. If I did, I apologize. I don't know why I do that. October 1st of 2015, the government basically started implementing some new regulations. Most of you should have already noticed that your debit cards now have an actual, it's basically a security chip. And I'll show you my debit card without showing you my entire card number, but there we go. So I'll cover, so most of you would have noticed that you have this little security chip, and it's now in your debit cards. Not too long ago, they were only putting that security chip on most credit cards. You probably didn't have it if you had a secured credit card, but they were putting it on most credit cards. Now they're putting it on all of the cards. And so Square basically, they're still processing this new device. It's not quite available yet. I did pre-order it. September 15th, I pre-ordered it. So, but they're not going to actually charge me for it until they actually ship my device out. But if you go to my website, and if you go to services and pricing page, towards the top of the page, you're going to find some green text, and it's going to basically talk about NFC chip, contactless payments coming soon in fall of 2015. If you click on that link, my website is programmed to open up another tab in your browser, and it'll basically take you to the page so that you can learn some more about this device. But pretty soon, I'm expecting my device in October or November of this year. That's when I'm expecting it. That's my current understanding of when it's going to arrive. And so when it does arrive, I'll be able to process Android Pay, Apple Pay, any type of NFC, like any type of payment method, you know, soft card, things like that. I'll be able to process those payments. And then this particular card reader, it's about the size of a hockey puck, It's a little bit bigger than my existing card reader. Instead of swiping your card like I normally do, I'm going to be inserting your card into the card reader. And so that security chip that you have, that's what I'm going to be using to actually validate your card to prevent fraud from happening. And so I won't be necessarily sliding your card anymore, unless for some reason you've fallen behind and you don't actually have that microchip built into your card. You should have received a new card in the mail by your financial institution automatically. They would have done it without even saying anything to you. They would have just sent you a new card in the mail. But I will be looking for that security chip, and if you do have it, and you probably will, I will be processing your card a little bit differently to accommodate all of the new regulations that the federal government is going to be implementing, and will be implemented October 1st. Technically speaking, October 1st of 2015. However, I'm still going to be swiping cards the old-fashioned way until I actually get my card reader. So Square is working on it. They're working hard. They're trying to get those things out. Just be patient. Of course, those of you that have used your card with me, you already know that you can trust me, and that's fine. So I'm not particularly worried about it. I'm more concerned about the liability on my end. But I've been speaking with Square. I've been speaking with my terminal provider, and I've been figuring out and making sure that I understand what's going on, so that I can avoid, getting myself into some shit. Because as you probably know, nobody likes to be knee deep in shit. So I'm definitely working on that for sure. I'm definitely pushing to get my business up to speed with everything that's being implemented this year. And then, so Glimpse. Now let's talk about Glimpse for a minute. Glimpse is already now integrated into my business, okay? So I'm already using it. In fact, I started using it yesterday. I had 2 sessions yesterday, and I used it for both. Unfortunately, the first client was using a basic phone. His smartphone was provided by his employer. He didn't want to use it. So he had this little basic phone that he uses for personal use. And so he wasn't actually able to utilize Glimpse. And so what Glimpse is exactly is that it's basically GPS location tracking in real time. Okay, so basically what's happening now is, before I start going to a session that I have on my schedule, or a session that was just booked, and if I'm able to do it, then I'll go ahead and I'll get on it right away. But basically what's going to happen is that I'm going to be sending you an invitation via text message. First, I'm going to be setting up the Glimpse, and then I'll be sending it to you. And this only takes like 20 seconds. It doesn't take very long. It's not very hard, as long as Glimpse is working correctly. Glimpse is a totally separate company. They manage their systems. They monitor their systems. They deal with whatever's going on. All that I do is I simply open up a digital window for you, and then I send you an invitation. It takes like 20 seconds to do that. And so you're not required to use Glimpse. You don't have to actually utilize that information if you don't want to. What's going to happen is that I'm going to tell Glimpse to basically open up that digital window for a predetermined amount of time. And I can always add more time to it if I need to. But when that timer runs out, you won't be able to track me anymore. But when I actually leave point A to go to point B, wherever you are, or wherever I'm going to be meeting you, that's when that Glimpse window, I'm going to start that Glimpse window before I actually start driving to you. And so if you decide, and Glimpse works on smartphones, tablets, and PCs, and Apple computers. So basically any type of smart computer, you can use Glimpse on it. So you don't even necessarily need to use Glimpse on your phone if you don't want to. If you wanted to, you can actually use it on your computer. I'm simply going to send it to you via text message, and that window will be open. Anybody who has that invitation will be able to access that window, that digital window that I'm creating. And so, for example, if I'm just going, most of my sessions take place within 30 minutes of downtown Denver. And so obviously I'm going to open up a window for 30 minutes. I'm going to create a glimpse for 30 minutes. I do have clients down in Colorado Springs, up in Bailey, Fort Collins, and I don't see them very often. You know, Breckenridge, Vail, I don't see them very often. But obviously, like in the case of Bailey, for example, I'll create a glimpse for about an hour and a half. In the case of Colorado Springs, I'll create a glimpse for 2 hours. And so basically at some point in time after I arrive, that window's going to close, but I'm already there, so it doesn't really matter. And so another thing too, and this is not required, once I can set everything up on my end, and I can streamline everything on my end. And so you don't necessarily, my current understanding, and I could be wrong because I'm still getting to know Glimpse, so you can't quote me on this, but my current understanding is that they have an application, but you don't actually have to install it. In fact, on their website, it says you don't have to install their software on your smartphone. Everything is just totally streamlined, which is really, really nice. And so they do have, like, for example, I have Android, so I went to Google Play. They do have their official application, and if you were to install Glimpse onto your smartphone, I can only imagine that you would have a more enhanced experience with that Glimpse that I create for you. But it's not required as far as what I understand so far. And so I'm definitely pretty excited about this, because some of you are kind of paranoid, and a lot of the reasons is because of the experiences that you've had in the past. And when I'm driving, I don't want to be dealing with text messages. But some of you are paranoid, unfortunately, and so, you know, I found this feature and I started playing with it, and I thought, you know what, this is actually really cool. I get annoyed when people try to tell me about their past experiences with other people, and it's like, I really don't care. And it's nothing personal. It's not that I'm an asshole. It's just I don't care, because if I do care, then I'm actually perpetuating the wrong ideas. It would be irresponsible of me as a person to actually take responsibility for the choices that other people made. If I do that, then I'm going to create ripple effects that are going to have a negative, nasty impact on the very fabric of the future. And so it is extremely important that I boldly and without remorse refuse to take responsibility for the choices that others have made. And so, you know, I could easily just say, fuck it, and I can just put up with everybody's crap, and I would make more money. I mean, I would definitely, my income would increase even more, but I'm not going to do that. For a lot of very good valid reasons. But this feature, I'm hoping that this will allow people to fucking cool down. And I'm hoping that this feature that I have integrated already into my business, I'm hoping that this will allow people to chill the fuck out. Because now you're actually going to be able to see me on the freeway. Like literally, like I'm not exaggerating. This is real-time GPS tracking. I'm not making that up, meaning every turn that I make, literally, you're going to be watching me if you want to. If you don't use the service, then you're not going to know where I am in real time, but you will literally be able to watch me as I'm driving to you. Even if you're way down south in Colorado Springs, or if you're way up north, or way out west, or whatever, I'm going to create that for you, and you can literally watch me. And you can even track how fast I'm going, which is kind of creepy. I mean, you know, my geek inside of me is like, damn, that's fucking cool. But the jock inside of me is like, holy shit, I have some security concerns. But, you know, something I'm good at living by faith. And so I'm going to go ahead and I've decided to go ahead and start using this feature. So I'm hoping that people won't abuse it. You might notice that I'm speeding on the freeway from time to time. I've definitely gotten a couple of speeding tickets in the past year, and so I'm definitely a lot more careful, but sometimes, you know, because I have an Infiniti, my engine accelerates very quickly and with a lot of subtlety, and Infinitis are known for being an extremely smooth ride. And so it's not uncommon for me to sometimes lose track of how fast I'm going, but I'm getting better at it. So if you're actually watching me, you're going to notice that I'm speeding from time to time. You know, try not to, you know, make a big deal out of it. But that's my video. Those are my two features that that are being integrated into my business. Thanks for watching, and MassageBF.com. I'm gonna post, there's a Glimpse logo on my homepage, and there's also a Glimpse logo on the services and pricing page. If you click on that logo, it looks like a G. My website is programmed to open up another browser. I'm sorry, my website is programmed to open up another bookmark or another tab in your browser, and so it'll take you to their official website, and you can learn more about them. You can learn more about their service, and it's pretty exciting. So that's about it. MassageBF.com. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.